time for the predictions because we do it in conjunction with the AFL captains. It's a big season launch tonight and the commission meeting, so there's going to be a bit going on. There'll be a bit of news around. Sammy Edmund in with us today or not? He's going to come in and tell us what's going on. But the captains have had their say on the season. They've had to answer all the questions that Tim's now going to answer because people wait for this every single year.
They do.
You give your answers.
Set their clocks by it.
And then I will let you know what the captains are thinking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So your top 8, please. Here it is. Pen's ready. Top 8.
My top 8, no particular. Do you want to order or do you want just the top 8 teams?
Order.
Melbourne, Geelong, Brisbane, Collingwood, Sydney, Dogs, Richmond, St Kilda.
Right. You've got St Kilda in the 8. That would be the one that would have most people raising their eyebrows.
Where'd they finish last year?
They finished 10th.
Yeah. How many wins?
11 wins and 11 losses.
Yeah.
So who goes out?
Who goes out? I think Fremantle goes out.
You got Fremantle outside the 8.
Yes.
That's the West Australian news people
Well,
coming
somebody
in.
has to miss out.
The Wisp is Watson declares Fremantle are flash in pan. That's what that. Yeah. Hey, I love your bravery.
No, I love
the way you go about it.
And I love the way that you add to what I say too.
Okay, I'm just doing the headlines on the back of it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Who have you got in the top 8?
No, I'm asking the question.
Okay, so you're not going to answer anything.
I do them later.
You do them about round 23. You do them.
You know what? I can't. I've got to get Carlton into the 8. I've got Carlton.
Why do you want to force them in? Hang on.
You haven't got Carlton in there.
No, I didn't have them in there. Can I ask you this question?
Sure.
I don't know whether you're allowed to tell me, but you got some, all your champion data stuff and your premiership.
Tim, I can't talk about that.
No, your premiership window stuff, right?
Yes.
And I know you've looked at Carlton forensically. Are they there? Are they close enough to being thereabouts? Are they on the improve the way they play? Their defensive mechanisms, their attack, all the important things. How close are they?
They're close. I'll give you the full detail. I can't access.
I know you can't.
Just at the moment.
I know you can't. But you showed me some stuff which was for my eyes only, and I will not be taking it back to 7.
Very good news for Geelong.
Sharing it with anybody.
Geelong, Melbourne, and Sydney supporters.
100%. But not great news if you're an Essendon fan either. When you look at all the reasons why they've been poor over the last few years.
I've got to get Carlton in, so I need to get one out, and I'm not sure who that's going to be.
There's always one or two that change, from season to season.
All right, I'll keep an eye on the Tigers.
Are you bullish about Fremantle? Do you think that they are an absolute certainty lock to finish top 8?
Yep, I do. I like the Jackson boy who's been added is going to help them. They defend. Just whether they can score is going to be the issue.
That might still be an issue too.
Might be, because they didn't really address that.
And
Lobb went out.
Jackson's
not a proven goal kicker. So they all right. Wispy says Freo can't score. They're out of the 8. Fair enough. Righto, Brownlow.
Brownlow, Petrarca for
just
Brownlow.
for the captains. The captains, 17 captains have said Brisbane will make the 8. 16 reckon the Cats and Richmond. 15 say the Swans and Melbourne. Fremantle got 12, Collingwood 11, 9 for Carlton. So the surprises are the Western Bulldogs. So
out.
The captains have sort of dropped off them a bit. Port Adelaide aren't given much chance. Well, five of the 18 captains, and Gold Coast Suns sink 2. So that for me says the doggies are the ones that the skippers aren't keen on.
On your chart, you're a bit bullish about the Gold Coast Suns too, aren't you? On your analytics, are you or not? Or
yeah, the numbers. Okay, but I'm still not convinced about them.
Okay, all right.
Right, Brownlow?
Brownlow, I just said Petrarca.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Yeah. So the captains are saying 5 have nominated Clary, Oliver, 3 for Brayshaw and Lockie Neal, 2 for the Bont, who's my tip, Took Miller, and then you got Cripps, Petrarca, Callum Mills. So they're the ones that have been nominated. I think Christian Petrarca looks like he's ready to blow up again, doesn't he?
Yep. He looks as sharp as he's ever looked. So, in fact, I think he probably even looks a little bit sharper. He looks a little bit pointier than he's ever looked.
You can send through your nominations too as we're chatting through all this. I know most people have already done them, but we like to wait till the captains. The Coleman medal.
Coleman medal. The Coleman medal. I'm thinking Charlie Curnow this year for the Coleman medal.
Yep. He hasn't been nominated. He got nominated once.
Yep.
Jeremy Cameron was a popular pick from the Skippers. He and Tom Lynch both with 6 nominations. This is an interesting one. Nathan Fyfe. Someone's nominated him. Harry Mackay, he'll be in there. Jack Gunston. Would Jack Gunston be a chance?
No. Has he ever won the Coleman?
No.
I don't think he has.
Tommy Hawkins, Charlie Curnow, and Aaron Norton is the other from the Western Bulldogs. That's from the Skippers. AFL Rising Star.
I'm going to go with. It's going to be.
Okay, let me say
it's going to be one of the young midfielders. It's going to be Will Ashcroft.
No, let me take Will Ashcroft out.
Okay.
So this is like betting without the red hot favourite. So if it's not Will Ashcroft, which of the next group do you like?
I really like Matthias Philippou,
Oh, yes. Tim, an excellent point.
He just looks like a kid that, watching him play against Essendon last week, he just looks like a kid that's just going to play and stand up and play at a very high level from day one.
I haven't seen, I didn't see all the footy, but of all the ones I watched, he was the one that caught the eye. Finn Callaghan caught the eye. Ruben Ginby is a kid from the under-18s last year who I love watching, and they reckon over there in the West, he's just taken all before him. He's been nominated. So Will Ashcroft is the hot pick with 8. Sam Darcy is the only other player that's been nominated twice, and he could easily win it.
Sam Darcy, we learnt yesterday that he's re-signed at the club as well, so he's signed on for another 4 or 5 years. That wouldn't have been a very difficult thing to get him to do, given that the old man's on the board, would it? I mean, what chance would he have of saying, oh, no, I'm just going to put off my contractual talks until, in a couple of years? A lot of pressure on you, particularly when Dad puts the food on his table every day.
Would you not have, though, if you were him and his manager, said, look, I think by round 14, his stocks may even be higher given what we expect from him. Wouldn't that be then the time to go back to the table?
Well,
I think the Duke screwed his son. I think he screwed him over.
Just depends on how juicy the deal might have been.
Oh, you think they might have got the big bag anyway?
Of course.
Maybe.
I saw Duke last week. He looked very, very happy and comfortable with himself.
He's got 2 nominations. Aaron Cadman, I haven't seen him yet, but he kicked 4 goals playing in the VFL last week, so they're happy with him. Jai Cully from the West Coast Eagles been nominated. Finn Callaghan looked unbelievable for the Giants.
He did. Cameron McKenzie looked very good for Hawthorn too in that game against Collingwood, didn't he? He had 20. I think he had 24. He had like 11 score involvements or something. Like really busy.
Very polished. Ruben Ginby's been nominated. Harry Sheasel from North Melbourne. Judd McVie from Melbourne got a nomination. So he's the young man I told you last week. Played really well.
Like him. You like him a lot.
At halfback. So Marcus Ashcroft. Marcus, I say that all the time. Will Ashcroft. Top pick. Other than your own club, that the AFLW club will reach this year's grand final. So that's the sort of mechanism that has come through from the coach, from the captains. Nothing really exciting there. Which club's most likely to reach the grand final? No, and bearing in mind this, so if you want to, how much weight you put on this, no captains picked the eventual Premier Geelong last year. Not one of the captains did this last year and had Geelong playing in the grand final.
It's hard not to think that Melbourne are going to be right up there at the end of the season.
Right.
And I know that we're talking about pre-season, but sometimes you do take notice of what they're doing in the pre-season. I'm taking notice of what Melbourne are doing and the way that they're playing. So I think they're a lock to be playing off in the grand final this year.
Against who?
I reckon, well, at the moment I'm thinking it's either going to be Geelong or it's going to be – I can't see Geelong tumbling. And Brisbane – I think Brisbane have got plenty of scope to improve on last year's performance given the way that they've gone about their recruiting. You know, the most fascinating team, and this is when you look at the teams that have made the grand final and have been smashed in a grand final, what they do the following year. Like we all think, okay, Sydney are a lock, they'll be a top 8 side because they're always a consistent performer. They're going to be an interesting watch, aren't they? If you look at them, would you say, is there any recruiting reason why they should be better than what they were last year?
No. So you'd have to say the improvement comes from within, which is what the best clubs do. And we saw a bit of that, didn't we, with Errol Goulden just expired.
So do you think Errol... Okay, let's ask you this question. Do you think Errol can take his football to a new level?
Yep, of course. I think
Millsy, he gave probably as much as you think he's ever going to be able to give last year. Heaney, probably as much.
Well, then you got Ollie Florent that can go to another level. You got my man, the number 1 man in football.
Yeah.
The Lizard can go to another level.
Another level?
Braden Campbell can go to another level.
Oh, he can, yeah.
Really
he's the only one so far, I believe.
What about...
No, I don't think he can go to another level.
Will Hayward could go to another level?
No, I don't think he can.
Logan McDonald could go to another level.
He could, yes, he could.
So there's a big upside there.
Yep.
So Justin McInerney jumped out of his skin last year. That's the sort of play, like when you say, can Will Hayward become, he could certainly go. Cal Mills plays at the level every time. Papley.
He can't go any higher. Buddy?
No, he can't go any higher.
No. And you'd think you're going to get a diminishing return from Buddy.
I'll give you one that they love. This is from inside the camp.
Yeah, I know where this has come from.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Angus Sheldrick.
Right.
Write that name down.
Tell me about Angus.
He's the number 18 pick last year in the draft and a very, very talented young Western Australian who they love. So put him down. Dylan Stevens, another one that can go to another level. Chad Warner can go to another level.
No, he can't.
Yeah, Chad Warner.
He can't go to another level.
Of course he can go.
No, he was great last year.
You
can't expect much more from Chad Warner than what we saw last year.
0433 98 11 16. Can Chad Warner go to another level? He can win the Brownlow medal, Chad Warner.
Oh, there you go.
I don't think that's breaking. That's not breaking news, Wiz.
Yes, it is. There's not one captain has said that Chad Warner is a Brownlow contender this year. Not one captain.
My other Brownlow.
Garry Lyon, Chad Warner can win the Brownlow this year.
Tim,
that is a big scoop.
It's a massive scoop.
Well, I'm happy for you to say, but it's not.
Look at that. The way that I can draw stuff out of you.
I'll tell you who else could win the Brownlow medal.
Who can?
CT Green. No. LC Green. Lean, clean Tom Green could win the Brownlow medal.
He could. He could surprise a lot of people and win the Brownlow. I'm with you on that.